Welcome back to the Better Everyday podcast, where we are unlocking our best self one episode at a time. My name is David Garcia, and this is my beautiful wife, Grace Garcia. How are you today?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're good? You didn't seem good in the morning.
I'm good.
Why are you lying to people?
No, right now I'm good.
Oh, you're good?
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to share why you've been a little overwhelmed?
Well, it's day one of my period.
Oh, that doesn't count.
What?
Just joking.
That makes a lot of, what is it? A sense of why I'm irritated. Because I was just getting irritated about a lot of things.
Okay. Well, anyways, my family is coming in 2 days, which I'm super excited about. But it's making this one a little stressed, a little overwhelmed. We still got some stuff to do. She had us all working this whole weekend. Nobody got to rest, really. Nobody got to rest, really. We had our couches cleaned. We had our carpets cleaned. We set up all of our Christmas stuff. We did Christmas traditions a little bit early, but for I guess it's a new tradition to do it once around Thanksgiving and then once around Christmas. So yeah, things are a little bit hectic. We're making sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's, making sure that everything's ready for my family. My mom is coming. My brother is coming. They've been here before, but this time around, my sister is coming for the first time ever. So that'll be interesting. But that also means that we're going to have to be driving around California because she's never been here and she's going to want to see it. Whereas my brother and my mom have been here and they're like, we're kind of just here for the food and the family time, obviously. But yes, I am super excited about that. What else do we got going on? What am I missing? No? Nothing? Well, we're also 16 weeks away from our LA marathon. So far, everything is going good, on my side at least. The injury seems to have pretty much subsided completely. Seem to be okay. Granted, I haven't used one of my pairs of shoes that was bothering me, so I haven't tried them yet. I'm going to have to try them. But as of right now, I've been able to do all of my runs, both long, easy, more harder runs. And I'm feeling happy. The graph of, my trajectory is going on a good path. The predictions that I have right now are somewhere between 4:10 and 4:20-ish for the predictions for my full marathon. So granted, they were at 4:40, 4:30-ish. So they are trending down, which is really good. My goal is to finish that bad boy in 4 hours or less, which will be a huge accomplishment, I think. But yeah, everything's going good on my end in that regard. How about you?
It's going good so far. I mean, I feel like I haven't pushed myself a lot because that'll be in December. It's just the base phase.
Mm-hmm.
I've been enjoying running this weekend. It was the first time running in the rain. That was fun until it wasn't because my contacts were getting so irritated. I came back and you were like, why is your eye so red? And then I got headaches. I'm thinking it's because of the run, 3 days after. That night and then 2 days after that.
The one thing that I forgot is, did you even drink electrolytes?
I did. But they said it could be because you're a lot of cold air if you're not used to it, inflamed. Or our nose, Nancy and I both, but she got a headache that day and then it stopped. Our nose, out of nowhere, was runny during the run. And we both were yeah. I was is your nose runny? She's yeah. Is yours? I'm yeah. We're sniffling while we're running, I think because of the rain. Mm-hmm. We were soaked, obviously, from head to toe. And so I'm thinking that's what the headache was because I was getting gnarly headaches and I'm not really for headaches.
And that, I guess, combined with your period, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And stress.
You're always stressed, though.
Yeah.
Pobrecita. And right after, so my family comes this Friday. So we are filming this on the Wednesday. So when this comes out, my family would have already been here for a couple of days now. But they come Friday, they leave Friday, and then the Saturday after, me, you, and the kids are off to Miami. And then the day after that, we're jumping on our first cruise ever. And everyone is excited. We got activities planned. We got excursions planned. We got shows planned. We got food planned. We got surprises planned. It's going to be a great time. So that being said, this is the second last episode of the year. We have one more, which will be with my family, and that will be the last one of the year. Not sure when that one's going to go up. Best case scenario, it goes up what is that? December 1st or something like that. Worst case scenario, it comes out after we're back. We are back, I think, the 7th or something like that. So after that, it'll be up. But this is the second last episode of the year.
I have a question.
Yes?
Wait, we're coming back December 7th or January?
No. We're back from our trip December 7th or something like that. We're back. The podcast will be back in sometime in January, yeah. Dang, you were already just like...
No, I feel like you didn't clarify. Like you were just saying, and then we'll be back.
You were doing that for their sake.
Yeah.
Okay, she loves you guys. Yeah, so we're on our last... There's no more updates, right? We're good? Yeah? We love each other? Yes, dear. I love you with all my heart.
I do love you. I don't know why you asked that. With my whole freaking being.
Okay. All right. So, second last episode. And I think this one's going to be a special one. The topic, it's my turn. And if you guys don't like this topic, then there is no hope for me for picking good topics anymore because supposedly only Grace picks the good topics. But the topic for today is generosity. We think that it is very important for us to speak about generosity, our journey with generosity, our journey with feeling like we didn't have enough to be generous, our journey with people being generous to us, and now realizing that practicing generosity and being able to just reflect on the gratitude of the journey that God has brought us to, that there is no way that we can't be generous to other people. So, in case you guys don't make it to the end of the episode, we will announce it now, and then we'll remind it again at the end of the episode. But right now we are announcing that we, Grace and I, our family, the Garcia family, would like to be a blessing to a family. Now, we want to be generous to a family. God has put this in our heart. And we believe that we are called to be a blessing to other people, and we're blessed to be a blessing to other people. Like I said, God has brought us through this journey where we've been at the low of lows, and we've been climbing out of that thanks to God and with the grace of God and the power of God. And we just think it's so important for us to be able to be generous to other people and to be able to hopefully encourage others to be generous to other people. So our plan is to have you guys help us be generous to a family. So if you guys know of a family that is in need, we would love to hear their story. We would love to hear about them, and we would love to be a blessing to them. I don't know how I can be in detailed, but we would like to help in any way, whether it be, hey, we don't have enough for bills, or we don't have enough for groceries, or we don't have enough for our kids. Whatever the case may be, we want to help. I'm not saying that we're, writing a check for thousands of dollars, but we want to be of help of some way or somehow.
So if you could nominate a family and we'd pick one, right?
Yes. So if you could nominate a family, we would pick one. Well, the amount would be about like $500 worth. And again, this would go towards if they just need the money to be able to pay bills, if they need the money for groceries, if they need money, I don't know, for whatever reason that they have some sort of need. Life has thrown them a curveball. They've been maybe praying, that they've been praying for some sort of miracle or something to come about. Again, we would love to hear their stories. We would love to be able to help that family. So it's really in your guys' hands, and the ball is in your guys' court to be able to name a family, and again, let us know about their story. And I will tell you, and I will be super transparent, we are in no way, shape, or form going to film this process. This is not for content reasons. If you guys want to remain anonymous, it'll remain completely anonymous. Like if we feel like we would like to share the story or something like that, we would ask you guys. But if you guys are not comfortable with that, it's no problem. This is not one of those, hey, we want to, get thousands of views based on our generosity, whatever. Like that's not the thing. So if you guys want to tell the story through the comments, awesome. If you guys want to tell the story through a DM and keep it more on the down low, that's fine too. But just reach out to us, let us know. And again, we would love to be of help to a family. So if you guys have a family in mind, please let us know. But going back to the topic, and I just wanted to bring that up because just in case you don't make it to the end, I didn't want to bring it up at the beginning of the episode. But yeah, we believe that generosity is so important. And I don't know, when we think about our life, I mean, we've shared a little bit. We obviously started off, I moved from Canada. The U.S. made me jump through so many hoops. Grace recently gave a message at church in regards to finances. And the funny part is that she to start off, which was a pretty good icebreaker, she asked everybody, who's married? And then everyone who's married lift up their hand. And then she asked, who married for love? And, obviously everyone's going to lift up their hand. And then she said, who married for money? And then I think you had 2 or 3 people lift up their hands, which was kind of a funny icebreaker. But then you went on and said I didn't really marry David for money because he basically didn't really have any. It's not that funny. But I wasn't broke. I wouldn't have married you if I was broke. I had some money. We were able to, pay for some of the wedding. Your parents helped a lot in that regard. The U.S. made me jump through so many hoops in regards to just being able to move out here. I had to book trips to Vancouver and go through this whole thing. We've shared that story as well. When I actually finally moved over here, I couldn't get a job because, I needed a work visa. So I did I did a job on the side as doing fencing, and you were sharing that sometimes it would be 12, 14-hour days. And in that type of job environment, it doesn't matter if you work 3 hours, 4 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours, you're getting paid the same amount. You get $100 a day. That's it. And you were sharing that. And then you were sharing about the times that you'd have to call Wells Fargo and, ask them to just remove the overdraft fee. You shared about the time when we had to ask a family member. That was the one and only time I think that we had to ask a family member. That was, I think I could safely say that was your rock bottom. I don't know if that was mine. It was more yours because you had to ask your family member and it wasn't my family member. I don't know. It was a lot harder for you, I think, than it was for me. I was more thinking logically because we had Elijah at the time, right? Mm-hmm. And I was just we need to do what we're going to need to do. But for you, it was I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but for you, I'm assuming it was I feel like a failure. I feel like I've messed up. Maybe they'll think why'd you even get married if you weren't ready for it? I don't know if these thoughts were crossing through your head, but I kind of put myself in your shoes, and I'm I would probably be thinking that if I had to ask my family member, hey, can you help me out with this?
I think a little of that, and then just thinking, I don't want to be a burden now. And I feel like a burden.
Yeah.
Like, what if they're tight? I'm making them tight. And I don't think they're going to say no, but they might be struggling as well. So that was my reasoning.
Yeah. So that was like your rock bottom. And, but along the way, we have had people randomly be generous to us. We've had families, we've had just individuals. When I went to Vancouver, we had that random little moment of generosity. Like, it's been amazing to see how God has showed up in the form of people being generous in the times of our need. And then we've also had like opportunities. I remember you've said the story about one time we basically cleaned out our bank account because somebody asked us like, hey, like I need help.
Yeah.
And we cleaned it out. And what was it like that same day or the very next day?
No, it was that same day. I went out to eat.
Yeah. We went, what was the story again?
So I told you, yes, but we're not going to like let them borrow it. We're going to let them have it.
Yes. Because we do believe in that principle. About not borrowing, but just letting them have it if we can. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and we had no money in their bank account. Like, it brought us to zero.
Yeah.
And so we're going to pay with our credit card, like, for that meal, because we were waiting for our paycheck, like, the next day, I think. And we went to Johnny Rockets. We ate food. And then you got a phone call saying, hey, Pastor David, we just wanted to let you know, like, we wrote an offering. Like, so we gave it to the church, like, an offering. And I think it was, like, the same... Like, it was going to get us through that week.
Yeah.
Before our paycheck hit.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is crazy, crazy. So, that we have experienced generosity and we have also, practiced generosity. Like it's part of our story.
Yeah.
Right. And so what I want to also get down to is it's not just about our story, but like getting down to the nitty gritty in regards to generosity. So, I guess let's start with asking the question or answering the question, what is generosity? So I'm going to ask you, what is generosity?
I think it's giving more than like what you feel like or you have to. It's definitely not an obligation. And so if you feel obligated to, that's not being generous. If you feel like, oh, well, they need it, I think it should come out of how God says, a cheerful giver out of the abundance of your heart. I think it's a posture. Because it doesn't even have to be like finances or material things, but it's your love being shown through actions, whether that's giving, whether that's lending an ear, helping out, acts of service, like all the love languages. And so I definitely think it's like a posture of just loving on people.
So I like what you said, because most people, when they think about generosity, they immediately go to finances. And I believe the same thing as you, that generosity is not just finances, but you can be generous with your time. You can be generous with your skills. You can be generous with the opportunities that you can give to people. You can be generous with just sitting in somebody's feelings, taking time out of your day. You can be generous in many, many different regards, So it's not just finances. And I think, like I agree with you. Generosity is, I personally think generosity comes out of gratitude. It goes back to, like, I've always said it since I was able to just speak to anybody. I've always said, like, we are blessed to be a blessing, and I think that's something that should be practiced. And to be blessed to be a blessing is to take a time to reflect and to see all that God has done in our life. And when you really take time to reflect on that, it centers you on truth. And then B, it also just harvests a bunch of gratitude. And when you have that gratitude, you're just like, how can I not be generous? How can I not be used to show up for somebody when God has used so many people to show up for me?
Yeah.
It's just this cycle of love, basically. Like, you receive the love, that love is harvested, you give the love, and it just cycles over and over again, right?
That's good, yeah.
And I think another good question is Is generosity a feeling or is it a skill to be practiced?
For sure, a skill to be practiced. I think from a young age, you see our natural tendencies of like mine, like this is mine. And so for some, it does come natural to people.
Yeah.
Like it's more just natural. You don't they don't think about it. And you see that like there's this TikTok trend where they put out cookies for each person except for like the third. And so they're like, look, this person got like 2 cookies and they're excited and they cheer. Usually it's the kid that gets the 2 cookies. And then let's say like dad gets 1 cookie and then they cheer. And then the last one is revealed and the mom has like no cookies. And you see different kids' reactions or some kids without thinking, they're like, here, have one of mine. Other kids like think about it and like kind of, grudgingly like, oh, here, you want one? And some cry and like, no, like they don't want to share. And it's such a young age. And so I think some of it is natural. I think some of it is like what they see. And so if mom and dad naturally are generous, like they learn through just observing. And some you for sure have to like be intentional of like, I want to be a generous person, so I'm going to practice that.
With those kids, what do you think it is? Do you think it's just like what they reflect what they see? Or do you think it's just something that's pre-wired in them?
Yeah, I think both. It's nature versus nurture. Like it's both because I remember one specifically, I saw so many during like that trend, but I remember one specifically, a little girl, she was the recipient of 1 cookie, not the 2 cookie one. When her sister gave the cookie to her mom, she cried because she was so proud of her sister and was like, that's so sweet for you to do. Like, I feel like that is in her.
Yeah, that's like, wired in her.
Like just the fact that she, again, didn't give it to the mom, but like she saw the beauty and was moved by it. I'm just like, what? And so I do think some kids learn it and some are just natural.
And I guess that's another good question in regards to like this example that you're giving. I guess somebody might beg the question, is everyone called to be generous?
I do think we're all called to be generous. We're all created in God's image and he's the most generous. And so I do think we're called, especially believers, to model that, even if it's not shown to us, like to be the first at showing what that looks like.
Yeah, because I think about like a person who didn't grow up generous or even seeing it, they don't have that wiring for it. Because like there's some people that I notice it's just wired in them. It's just so easy for them to be like, here.
Yeah.
I remember my friend Sergio is one of those people. Like, I remember I used to work at this place and I used to show up. This is when we were like in our rice and beans era, and all of my lunch was a whole thing of Romanian lettuce. And I would wash it at work, just rip it up and throw some dressing on it. And that's it. That's all I would eat.
No croutons, no cheese, no chicken, nothing.
Nothing, just that. And like, it was a combination of like weight management and also, just, being on that rice and beans, trying to be like disciplined, not spending a lot of money. Right. And this guy that, he's not that well off. He's championing forward for his family. He's the only one that works. And every time he saw me, it was like there's something inside of him that was like, give him some of your lunch. Give him some. And I was so happy. Like I honestly felt like a poor kid. Like I remember, okay, listen, this is what it reminded me of. I remember in school, my parents, my mom used to always make me the same lunch every single day. And there was no like special snacks. There was not, and like you see, like, I mean, I come from a white neighborhood, so I can say this. Like I was there was like maybe 1 or 2 other Latinos in my community. And so you like, for whatever reason, I don't know, they're more well off or whatever. Like all the white kids had the cool snacks, had the cool lunches. And I'm just sitting there like a little puppy, like, like just like hoping somebody offers me something. And sometimes they would. And I was like the happiest kid ever. I remember there was a kid that lived right by the school, and sometimes he would invite me to his house for lunch, and he would have like these little taquito things. He would have chimichangas. It was the only time I could eat that stuff, and that to me was like gold.
The fact that you could leave during lunch though is wild.
Yeah, it was different back then. But my point is like this, my friend Sergio made me feel like a little kid all over again. That kid that just like, he wasn't able to have that stuff like on his own. And he would just like, here, have some. And I remember like the one thing that I took away from him was the tostadas. Just like shredded chicken. What was it? Like corn, onions, avocado, some mayo, and maybe some salt and pepper and some lime. And oh man, that mess was fire. But granted, again, all I was eating is a whole thing of Romanian lettuce and Caesar salad dressing. But my point is like, there's some people that like it's just easy for, you know, like, and then I do believe and I agree with you in regards to like we were all called to be generous. We were all called to be generous. But where some people I think could be like, oh, I don't feel like I'm called is because, well, I don't feel it, you know, and because I don't feel it, like, I mean, if you want to be very charismatic, just like, oh, like God hasn't told me to be generous, you know, like he hasn't given me that feeling where I'm just like, oh, I feel anointing over this giving or whatever, right? And somebody like that could look at somebody that is generous and be like, that's not fair. Like it just comes so easy to him. Like somebody could be sitting there being like, I wish I had that. I wish I had that bone. I wish I had that. The just wiring where I could just easily, because I know that it's true that I should be generous, but it just doesn't come easy to me, right? And so you could also like maybe manipulate or twist things where just like, oh, well, maybe out of the body of Christ, that's his function and my function is not that same function. And you could say that his strength is that and your strength is not that, but that's not to say that you should not be generous.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
No, I completely agree. And as you were talking, I had a question. Do you feel like it came natural to you, like being generous?
Oh man, not entirely, because I have a lot of times compared myself to generous people, and I'm just like, yo, how, especially with people that I know like don't have a lot, you know, I'm just like, how, like for me, it just like completely goes to like logic, like, do you have enough? Like, what's that percentage? You know, like faith is kind of like diminished in that aspect and logic takes over. And I'm just like, how? Like, and, but there's some times where it just comes naturally. So I am on, the arena of the people that like, I don't feel it all the time, but I can be self-aware enough to know or mature enough to know that I know I need to be generous. Because there are times where I feel it. And when I feel it, it's so easy for me to just be like, here. Fine, it's not a problem, no big deal. But in times where I don't feel it, that's where I'm like, huh. And then I have to like basically speak truth over my own mind. I'm just like, this is the right thing to do. Even though it doesn't logically make sense to you, it's the right thing to do. Like, and that's where the logic battles the faith, where the faith starts telling me like, it's going to be okay. Relax. Like trust in God.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't make sense, trust in God. There's a reason to this. And most of those scenarios have happened through you, right? Where I feel like you have a little bit more of that bone, that wiring. And there's been times where I'm just like, huh, what? But I've learned over time, I'm like, okay, first we're one. And second, she probably has this strength where it's not that my biggest strength. And so I've learned to kind of like lean on like, okay, like if she's feeling that we should do this, then I'm going to trust her. And we've done it and it's been amazing. You know, like that's
good. I feel like that's such a good thing for men to hear. Because usually, you know, I mean, it's true. And I don't want to say usually, they say like it is true a man should lead the household. But knowing that like maybe that doesn't come natural to the man of allowing your helper to help you in that area and realizing, okay, when is it like the reins to go or like trust her God-given intuition? Because I feel like women are a little bit more emotional. And that could be a gift in areas like that. And so knowing when to like, all right, I'm going to like surrender to this, even though I don't feel it. I think it's powerful.
Yeah. And practice makes it more easy. Because I remember at the beginning, it was like, and I remember I would like, it would usually be through text. You'd already be out somewhere doing something. You're like, hey, I feel like we should do this. And I remember like in the midst, like it was like a mental battle for me. I'm like, and I might have sent you like a ... kind of like, what do you want me to say? You know, like, and it was a mental battle. Maybe you can even call it a spiritual one. And again, I had to overcome that mentality of like, I guess the mentality of scarcity, really. Just like we don't have it. It doesn't make sense. Like, and the beginning was a lot harder, but as time has gone on, I'm just like, no, like it's fine.
Yeah.
Like I'm not sitting here saying like I'm the most generous, and I'm not sitting here saying that when you bring it up, I'm not like, like for me, it's almost like on the very first drop of a roller coaster, I'm just like, brace for it, it'll be over soon, you know. But I know that I just have to trust the process, you know, trust the person that I married, you know, trust my helper. And yeah, like over time, it has gotten easier. Over time, I feel like I have become more generous and generous with other people, and also generous with you as well. Because I remember at the beginning, you were like, what the heck? Like, you don't give me nothing and blah, 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 blah. And now I find myself, I'm like, I find myself like, you know, I don't know, moments of inspiration where I'm like, oh, like this would be great, you know, for Grace or whatever, get her this and get her that or whatever. And yeah, like I think I've slowly breaking free from, I don't know whether to call it like a scarcity mindset or what it was, but what I can say that it's been seeds of love that has been planted in me and that are like slowly over time giving fruit, you know?
Yeah, that's good. And I think like I'm not, like you say I have a generous bone. Like I would have not said I have a generous bone.
More than me, I could say that.
But I think for me, it's that nurture part. Like I had a generous mom, 100%. She would do anything for anyone, give the clothes off her back, invite a stranger into our home, feed them. Like she was walking generosity. And so I think like, I'm like, okay, I have to be generous. Like, cause Melody, I think out of all, she's the most generous. Like just if she can, she would. Her time, services, money, like anything she can give, she will. And see, I think comparing myself to, I think I've said this before in another podcast, but comparing myself to my mom and Melody, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't come natural to me because they're like up here and I'm like, I'm not there. But I think they've instilled in me that importance. And so it's like, okay, I have to be generous. And so just doing it out of like, this is what's good. How you said it comes easier because I'm like, yeah, compared to them, I'm still not like generous, but it's like that nature versus nurture. And that's what I hope like to instill our kids, that it's like, even if they're not generous, because we both aren't that at least naturally generous, to be like, look, we do this and show them why. So think about, okay, this is just like what we're called to do, what we do. This is a good thing to do. And I think you have to like hear people's story, because I feel like through hearing people's stories, and you've said that too, like something about the underdog where you're like, I want to give it all to you, but if you stay, I think, a little away from people, it's hard to like want to be generous.
Yeah.
And so you have to get to know them, like get close to them, build relationships where you're like, here, like, let me help you. And I think that's what church is. It's like the people, it's not a building, where we're doing life with them. And so we become like the hands and feet of Jesus. And when you're down, I'll lift you up. When I'm down, we'll lift you up. Because we've had examples of that. Another couple who's like, they are way more generous, I think, than us, like the Clevelands. From the beginning, always anything they can do for us, they will. I think people like that like inspire us. Okay, that's what we have to do. And like we're always like tag teaming. Like when they're down, we'll help us help them, vice versa. I think that's really the beauty of community, like being able to see Jesus through others.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a whole lot of sense. And that's, like you said, the part of the purpose of community, um, what do you think contributes? Like I touched on it a little bit, the scarcity mindset. Like, what is the difference between a generous mindset and a scarcity mindset? Would you say?
How I said in my preaching, I believe a lot of it is fear. And fear can paralyze you where you just freeze or like run away or you fight the situation, right? Usually humans have like fight, flight, or now they say in freeze. And so whether you've been in a situation before and you're like, I do not want to return to that. That was horrible. I barely made it out, right? I guess the trauma of lacking or of just remembering maybe your childhood. Or you've had a taste of what the good life is, like what it feels like, and you kind of made that your idol, and so your fear of losing that. I feel like I've experienced both of those, and so I understand that, and so I think a lot of it just stems from fear, from lacking in God, not trusting Him, that if He did it once, He can do it again, or like in my case, I'm like, I know He can do it again, but it was, I don't know if He wants to teach me a lesson, so I don't know if He wants to do it again. And like the sense of like, I know He's a good Father, but I also know He teaches through hard lessons. Like that was my view of God. And so lack of trust that like God knows what's best for you, and you stepping into that. And so I think for sure is fear and a lack of trust that really is like the scarcity mindset.
Yeah, I would fully agree with you with the fear. Like you said, fear of losing what you've gained, fear of just basically crumbling. Like I remember, there was times where I'm just like, how? Like we're broke as it is. Like how can we help anybody? And it reminds me of, I think there was 2 stories in the Bible in regards to like widows that had nothing. One was with Elijah, and I think the other one was with Elisha, if I'm not mistaken. But with Elijah, God tells him, hey, like go, and there's going to be a widow that's going to be able to help you. He goes to the widow, and she's like, basically like, I have nothing. And he was just like, give me what you have, and basically just watch what happens, whatever. And God blesses her because she gives what she has. And I there's one thing that I have learned over the time. Fear is never going to get you everything that you want. Fear is going to rule you, and in not a good way, in a very bad way. Fear is going to have you thinking that you need to hoard everything that you have, and little by little it'll grow. Where that mentality brings to mind another Bible verse, which I believe is in Matthew, that basically says like anything can be gone in the snap of a finger. Your treasures and everything can be eaten by moths, I think it says, or something like that. Just like boom, gone. Like if your treasures are here on earth, like it could be in a snap of a finger that all that's gone, and then what you have? Nothing. And but love and generosity, it's crazy because it seems countercultural or counterintuitive, because our intuition tells us, like store, save, don't like leave it all for you, keep piling this thing up. Whereas generosity is like, be generous to other people. And there is this like, and I don't want to say it's like a formula, because it's not like 1 + 1 = 2, right? But I truly believe that when you practice generosity, you are planting seeds, and you have no idea who you're planting these seeds into. And you don't know if one day these seeds that you planted into these people one day may be able to open a door for you or your kids or your kids' kids. Like, you don't know what that seed will do. And where someone might have thought, I can't give this seed to this person because I need it for myself, the other person said, I'm going to give this seed. And like I said, like you have no idea what God can do. And you know, and why I say it's not a formula is because you know, God doesn't move the same way every single time, right? He does miracles differently. He moves in different ways and different patterns, whatever. But the fact that the seed that you're planting can also reap a reward here on earth or even in heaven is just like it breaks that mentality of it's all about me. I need to worry about me and only me. And you just bust open these doors of just like really just love.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're giving the love, you're receiving love. It's just like this. It's beautiful in its freedom. Whereas in fear, you're a slave to it. You know? And again, like we've seen that in our life. Mm-hmm. Both that we've practiced and also that has been practiced onto us. And yeah, I guess maybe just speak on that in regards to like, how do you feel generosity has impacted us both in us practicing it and us receiving it? Maybe like in your personal view and also in just in our family.
I do think, how you said, since it didn't come natural to us, like we've had to learn it. And I think I've seen for sure us both individually and together getting more generous and more generous, where it becomes easier and easier. And we're both on the same page. And I think it's beautiful when it's like, oh, David, I thought of this. And you're like, yeah. Or you come to me like, hey, I thought of this. And I'm like, yeah, like we feel supported. We have each other's backs. We're doing this together. Because I can't imagine one spouse and the other like fighting about that. Or like not being on the same page, like not having that peace. So I'm just grateful that we've always like trusted each other and we've like been on the same page. And again, in the beginning, probably didn't come as easy, and now it's easy. And then even more beautiful when like I have a number in mind and you have a number in mind and they both match up, and it's like, all right, let's do it. What?
It's, I don't think annoying is the word, but it's just like that scenario usually goes like this. Grace goes, I feel like we need to give to this person or family or whatever. I'm like, okay. And you're like, you take that okay as in like I'm in full agreement with you. And you're like, okay, what number? And I'm like, I'm in that mental battle. Like I don't share my mental battles with you. But
why?
Like,
you should.
I guess I should. I mean, I'm sharing it now, I guess.
Yeah.
But like,
I know, I can see the turmoil and the text here.
I'm in that mental battle and you're like, how much? Like, let's see if our numbers match up. And I'm like, our numbers are not going to match up. Just tell me how much and I'm just going to agree with you. Cause like, yeah, there have been, I guess, times where we do agree, but like a good amount of times I'm just like, just give me the number and I'm whatever.
That's funny. So yeah, I think it's been beautiful seeing just like our relationship grow in that area, like together, independent. And how you were saying, like this cycle of love, I feel like even in our spouse, that's why I always say marriage is so important, because it's a real in-person depiction of like the gospel. Like it paints a beautiful picture. And even if like one spouse in the beginning, let's say they're more like their heart's cold or not cold, they're just maybe not used to it. And someone is always like, I feel like I'm doing all this in vain. Like they're not saying thank you, or they're not like appreciating me. And like, it's so annoying. I'm the one that's like giving. Like if you do it in obedience and because you know you have to, and the responsibility falls on the person, whoever was self-aware first. So if you just continue, like you will change their outlook. You will change their posture. You will like make them, again, like more generous. And so you don't do it for that intent. Like, I want to change them, so I'm going to do it. But it's amazing how like God is always faithful. He's going to back you up. He loves you. And so he starts changing the other person. I think it's the same way. How you said with generosity. We don't do it like, what am I going to get in return? Like, oh, I'm putting this in the bank. What's going to happen? Like we do it out of obedience because we want to become more like God. And in return, like we just, how you say, like we see it come back to us in beautiful ways. And so just seeing that and like seeing God's faithfulness, like all those testimonies, being able to glorify him. Like, look, it's happened in our lives, and it's a beautiful thing to do.
Yeah. And you brought up the example of somebody doing it and expecting, you know, a thank you or for them to change or whatever. We definitely need to keep ourselves in check in regards to practicing generosity. You know, like our hopes is that you're listening to this episode and there's a spark or something, you know, a fire that's being lit that's like, you know, I should practice generosity, whether that's with finances, whether that's with time, whether that's with my skills, that's, you know, volunteering, you know, whatever it may be. But if you're doing it to expect something in return, then you aren't having the right heart posture or the mentality. We touched on this a little bit on the last episode. And yeah, I guess it's like a universal truth or universal principle where like so many, like almost in everything, like if you do something expecting something in return, you're gonna kind of like, you're setting yourself up for failure and you don't have the right heart for it. I believe that love really doesn't need anything in return. And maybe saying doesn't need anything in return is not completely correct, but like it doesn't expect anything. It's not a 1+1, you know, like it's not I do this and you do this. It's I love you and I'm doing this. Or I'm loved by God and I'm so blessed by him and I'm doing this. Like if you don't say thank you or if you don't give me anything or whatever, like I'm okay with that. I'm fine. Like I'm doing this because I know this is right and I know that I'm loving you and I'm doing the best that I can.
Yeah.
You know, like your heart posture, your mentality needs to be correct for you to do that. Like, and that's why I prefaced what I said with what we're doing is not for the sake of content. It's not for the sake of getting a bunch of, you know, high fives or praise or whatever. Like, we truly just want to bless these people, you know, and well, I truly believe that me and you are doing this with the correct heart. And also, part of why we're doing this is also to be able to show our kids, you know, we want our kids to see it because we hope that they can grow up generous as well. And we know, and we're believing that they're going to be in a better spot than we were at their age. And we need them to know the responsibility that they have to be generous, you know, whether they feel it or not. And if we can instill that in them, like I think we're setting them up even more for success. And it's a success where you have that posture and that mentality of Paul, where he says, like, I know what it is to have and what it is not to have. Like, basically in between the lines is money is not going to make or break me. I'm good either way. You know, like I'm called to be a blessing to people. I'm called to serve people. Like, what more do I want? I'm walking with God. I'm fulfilled by God. Like, what more do I want or need, you know? And I think it's so fulfilling to be able to help somebody. It's so fulfilling, like, and especially if you have those special moments where you hear about, you know, like the what was produced from your generosity, you know, like not everybody gets that story, you know, and again, you shouldn't be chasing that story. But if you do get the blessing to be able to hear the story of like David or Grace or, you know, this family was generous in XYZ way, and this is how God used their life to be able to change the trajectory of my life. It's just like, what more fulfillment do you want? Like, what more do you need? Like, to know that God has used you to bless somebody, to know that God has used you for a purpose and his will and that you are part of his plan. Like, what more do you need? You know, and I am in full alignment with this topic and with us practicing this. And I think, again, that's why we are doing what we're doing. And we are praying and hoping that this continues to grow. You know, that I mean, we've said it here before, I think, where what our goals and our dreams are for this podcast. You know, our goals and our dreams for this podcast are for this to become an organization where we can help people in certain areas of their life, whether that be, our hopes is that we can have a department of finances and a department of marriages and a department of youth and a department of education or whatever, like counseling, so on and so forth. Just like we want to be an organization that can help people in any way possible, you know, like it could be an organization to the point that we can maybe build a scholarship or whatever, like, or a foundation or whatever, like, but that we want to help people, you know, and I think this would be the first seed of the Better Everyday podcast moving into that trajectory.
That's good.
So, anything else you want to add on the topic of generosity?
No, I think the goal should be how you said, pause, where it's like knowing what it is to have and not have. Because if we're not worried about it, like true worried, like our actions will reflect that. And so then we can give, knowing even if I don't get this money in return, if I don't see it like 100-fold, I'm good. Here, you can have it. And so you willingly give it, no strings attached, no expectations attached, no hopes attached. You're just like, all I want is to bless that person.
And there's a cherry on top of that mentality, you know, like what you're basically, what you're describing, and I'm just reiterating, is like, I can give and it's not a big deal if I get anything back, right? But the cherry on top of that mentality is, that's an amazing heart posture. That's amazing mentality. The cherry on top is what you plant here on earth will give fruit in heaven. And that's something maybe like if we don't have like a heaven, the 24/7 heaven mentality, you know, like we're not thinking about it. But I would like to hope that whether we think about it or not, like that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And the day that we get to walk through the gates of heaven, God reminds us, hey, you remember all those times that you helped those people? You might have forgotten, but you were storing up treasures up here. And here it is, you know, and that's the cherry on top. Like,
Yeah.
and not only to have that heart and the mentality to be able to be a blessing to somebody else without expecting anything in return, but if you get nothing in return here, no big deal. You're getting treasure stored up in heaven.
Yeah.
Which is a promise, you know, and God is not somebody who lies. So, yeah, generosity is beautiful. It's fulfilling. And if you have not been able to practice it yet, I would encourage you to just try. Even if you're in Starbucks or, if you're in Starbucks or a fast food line or whatever, just be like, hey, I want to put $20 towards the person behind me or whatever. Do like something like that. Or I think we all know somebody who's struggling. You know, if you guys know somebody who's struggling, like, again, it doesn't have to be money. It could be time. It could be, hey, I can help you with finding a job, or hey, I can help you with whatever, XYZ.
Or words. I feel like a lot of us like even struggle being generous with our words, like leaving comments and thinking, like we think nice stuff about them and then it's hard for us to like say it.
Yeah.
So just words do so much to lift a person's spirits, like you don't know what they need to hear. And so be God's voice, be God's like hands and feet, be whatever you can, light of the world.
And it may be countercultural and it may be counterintuitive, but I promise you that you being generous will open doors for you. And don't do it for the sake of manipulating those doors to be open. Just do it out of the goodness of your heart and watch. Like, it's not a matter of days or hours or weeks. Like, you don't know when it's going to happen. Like I said, it could be that you bless somebody and that person's kid remembers what you did for them and their kid blesses your kid or something like that. Like, it could be in a matter of years or whatever, but like that God's watching what you're doing. He's watching what you're doing. And if you are in alignment with the characteristics of God, like there's nothing but beauty in your path, you know? And again, I feel like I just need to have that disclaimer. That does not mean that your life will be rainbows and butterflies. But what that will mean is that if you're generous, I believe that in times of need, you will have a lot more people that have your back because you were so generous. I think you practicing that generosity and having that characteristics and having that personality of generosity like automatically attracts love. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. And I also think you practicing that, like let's say again, you get nothing in return. Because I do think God calls people in like certain seasons to be different, used different on earth, whatever. Let's say, like, just you're never going to get any of the material things back. Mm-hmm. Like at the very, very least, you know that like fear has no hold on you. You know that
yes,
you're in that peace of like, my life can't get better or worse, but I'm good, like either way. Mm-hmm. So you're not like fearful of the future, like, oh, what if this, what if that? You're just living in God's peace. And that's such a great gift to be like, fear, how you thought like you were going to get me, and I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So just to wrap this up, if you know anybody, please let us know. Let us know their story. We'd love to hear about it, and we'd love to be a blessing to them. Again, to reiterate, we're not doing this for content. We're not doing this to get anything in return. We're not doing this to get praise. We're not doing this to get notoriety. We're not doing this to for any of that. We're doing this because we have been blessed so many times. We have been in the lows of lows. We've been at that rock bottom, and we've had people be generous to us. We've had God showing up so many times in the times that we least expected it, in the times that we thought we were doomed. We've had God show up, and how can we not now, where, especially in the position that we're in, to not be a blessing to somebody else? Mm-hmm. So please let us know a name, a family, whatever it is. And if it's you, please, 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 please don't think somebody else has it worse than me, I'm not going to share my story. Because that may be fear taking control of your own life. And I would just encourage you, like if it is you, share it. Again, it doesn't have to be in the comments. It doesn't have to be displayed to the whole world. It could be through a DM. We will keep everything discreet. If you want it to be discreet, we won't let anybody know. But again, we truly desire to be a blessing to somebody.
And at the very least, let's say, I doubt it, but let's say we get like hundreds of nominations. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's going to be so hard. I'm going to feel so bad. I'm like, David can't. But at the very least, like, know that we'll be praying for it, and there is power in prayer. And I don't know, I don't know if now or like in the future, and I don't think I've even shared this with you, but how cool would it be if like there's 5 like stories that we just feel, oh my goodness, like we want to help it and we can, and maybe we physically can't, but then bringing it up to like our better everyday audience and be like, we need this for this family. You guys will see it. Like it's transparent. Like, do you guys want to be a part of that? Mm-hmm. Like that would be so awesome if we can even like sponsor more or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, that's a great like vision to have. Like it's something greater than what we're doing right now. And it's a trajectory towards where we want to be. Mm-hmm. You know, we want to be able to help. And it won't just be us. You know, like eventually this organization will grow. We'll have the network to be able to use different resources to be able to help people as well. I look forward to those days. And I know that we're going to look back on maybe this episode and be like, you remember when we were first talking about that? And now we have video recording of it. We have the receipts to say like, this is where we started and look at where we're at right now.
Well, it's crazy because I feel like this past week, not even talking about this exact topic, but talking about like finances and stuff like that, I was like, I wouldn't open up a church. I would open up a nonprofit. And then maybe this is like the baby steps to that.
Yeah. I mean, like, how crazy would it be to go from helping one person or one family to now multiple, and then to hundreds, and then thousands? Like, yeah, for sure. And you know, besides the finances, I mean, we also would love to offer any sort of other help. You know, like if you guys need some sort of financial education, if you guys need, I don't know, counseling or advice or prayer, or I don't know, just time or whatever. Like, we're here
to clean your house.
We're here for that. You know,
need to watch your kids.
Now we're a daycare.
I'm just trying to say, like, what can I do?
Yeah. No, but yeah, in any way that we can, honestly, we just know that we're called for this, you know, and we talked about it a couple episodes back, and that analogy will probably live in me for the rest of my life, where I was saying, like, I don't want to be on my deathbed, never, like, realizing that I never saw the beautiful earth that God made. But then also, I never want to be on my deathbed, never realizing the full potential that God had placed in me, and feeling that full circle fulfillment. You know, like, you want to be on your deathbed and be like, I did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of what we're supposed to do is be able to help people.
100%.
So yeah, please let us know. Please reach out in the comments or DM. You can reach us through our Instagram, The Better Everyday Podcast, our TikTok, The Better Everyday Podcast, or us personally, whatever it is. If you guys have us on Instagram or whatever, or if you have our number, reach out to us. We're looking forward to it. And we know that this is going to be an amazing experience. And we know that God is working in the midst of all this. So we thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode. We only have one episode left, which is going to be a special one with my family. Yeah, we, I guess, preemptively wish you a happy Thanksgiving. We hope that you guys eat a lot of food, and that you enjoy your time with your family, and also preemptively happy holidays, happy Merry Christmas, and enjoy that too with your kids, with your family. Enjoy the time that you guys have with your family. Tomorrow isn't promised, so make the most of what we have today.
And Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year, but we could probably say that on the next episode.
Oh.
But yeah, we love you guys, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.